Welcome into the bunker of General Gridiron, Field Marshal of football forecasting. We're about to map out the way this college football weekend is gonna go. Will your favorite team be marching to victory, or will the enemy be taking your battle flag? The finish line for college football is just around the bend, and some of the sports elite are jockeying for position as the leaves begin to fall. It's gonna get real wacky during the home stretch of the schedule. So grab your helmet and man those battle stations. We're ready for another round of General Gridiron's football foretelling. Vanderbilt at Georgia. Haul up anchor, Vandy. Crusty Cornelius sets sail for Stanford Stadium and right into the jaws of a battling Bulldog battleship. Smart's boys are on a 5-0 win streak after making fools of the Vols last week. The Doors haven't been as strong, just surviving against tiny Tennessee State last Saturday. When it comes to the SEC East, these two are on completely opposite spectrums, and there ain't much doubt that UGA will make them Nashville natives heel. The Generals victor, Georgia. Clemson at Wake Forest. The Seminarians host Clemson at BB&T Field and hope for a different final score than last year. Tiger televangelist Dabo Swinney is probably still catching his breath after a narrow victory last week over Syracuse. Even though Trevor Lawrence hurt his neck in that escape, it's looking like he'll be up to silencing the scattering of Wake Forest fans. It's going to take one heck of a prayer from the deacon to survive this one. The Generals victor, Clemson. LSU at Florida. The Bayou Bengals are trading one swamp for another. The Baton Rouge Beast will have a real challenge in this matchup against the resurgent Reptiles. Coach O has been rolling lately, especially after a Saturday night in Death Valley massacre of Mississippi. But UF chomped down on Coach Mullen's old Mississippi State in an upset win also played last Saturday night. Felipe Franks is a tough quarterback, and he'll have to be against that tough Tiger D. It'll be a close one, but in the end, the SEC West will be triumphant. The Generals victor, LSU. Notre Dame at Virginia Tech. The home of the Hokies is going to be full of the Irish. VPI has been strong, except for that little hiccup in Norfolk versus Old Dominion. The Leprechauns haven't quit all season, stuffing plenty of tough teams with their rough and tough defense. The Hokie Birds are a little shakier, but Damon Hazelton can sure get down the field. In most cases, home field advantage is a big battle factor, but the General knows how stubborn them Catholics can be. The Generals victor, Notre Dame. Texas versus Oklahoma at Dallas's Cotton Bowl Stadium. Forget about that cotton candy and elephant ears outside the stadium at the State Fair of Texas. These two old foes have had a roller coaster ride in 2018, struggling against what should be blowouts, then dominating the games that were supposed to be close. So, only the General knows how this neutral site game will go. The Red River rivalry is just as heated as always. Oklahoma burned through everyone but Army, while the bodacious Bovines already did their happy jig after spanking TCU. Unfortunately for Texas, that offense just can't hold a candle to Coach Riley's roustabouts. The Generals victor, Oklahoma rolls. Ahead on General Gridiron, Kentucky, yes, Kentucky, is undefeated and headed to College Station for a duel pitting two teams that once called Paul Bear Bryant head coach. And the Commander-in-Chief's trophy fog of war may clear Saturday as Navy sets sail to the Air Force Academy. Keep it here. General Gridiron will be right back.
I was living in a shelter juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Well, hello there, soldiers. This is General Gridiron back with you. Each week, this fabulous football forecast can be heard on some of the finest radio stations all over the good old U.S. of A., including WJGA FM 92.1 in Jackson, Georgia. We play whatever we like. And The River, KFYN FM 104.3 in Paris, Texas. Bonjour. We appreciate all of our radio affiliates. Now, let's get back into the football fight. Florida State at Miami. Here's a good old-fashioned in-state rivalry for you. The Noles and Canes duke it out in Hard Rock Stadium. The U has done a great job playing high school teams since losing to LSU at the start of the season. The Noles have struggled in almost every game, including their wins. One was against Stanford, Sam not Stan. That skill gap ain't gonna help when they're surrounded by orange and green. The Seminoles will head back to the Florida State capital city crying, "No, no, 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 no." The Generals victor, Miami. Auburn at Mississippi State. Coach Joe Moorhead's first year as Bulldogs head coach has not been what everyone hoped. Even though they brought back more starters than just about anyone in the SEC, State has slipped down to the likes of the Vols and the Commodores with zero, count 'em zero, conference wins. Even this home field advantage won't be enough to stop the Gus Bus, as Albie's going to tear through Stark Vegas as a warm-up to the pending demoralization of Tennessee at Jordan-Hare the following weekend. The Generals victor, Auburn. Utah at Stanford. The U of U drags its weary feet to Stanford, hoping to end a two-game conference losing streak. On the other sideline, the Color Red is still reeling after being shut down by Notre Dame. It's hard to tell who needs this win more, but the outcome isn't hard to see. As the Utes try to be a strong defensive team, they just won't last long up against the Californians' passing game. Maybe, just maybe, all the Redwoods need to recover is to go back to their roots, because they can sure enjoy this Saturday night special on the farm. The Generals victor, Stanford. Kentucky at Texas A&M. Nobody, and I mean nobody, has been as surprising as Kentucky this year. Not only have they broken streaks, upset ranked teams, and gone undefeated thus far, Big Blue Nation is ranked higher than they have been since the 1950s. The Cats ain't going to walk all over the Aggies this game day at Kyle Field, but do not count them out. That 12th man had a tougher time than expected against lowly Arkansas, and momentum is real. The General loves a Cinderella story. In this duel of Paul Bryant's coaching gigs before Bama, Kentucky prevails. Navy at Air Force. The midshipmen are dropping anchor at the home of the Falcons, and boy oh boy, this military rivalry is going to heat up fast. USAFA has struggled, but only barely against most opponents. They've still got a strong offense, especially when it comes to rushing. The Galloping Goats have proven that they can handle themselves, but they're still heartbroken after an unexplainable SMU overtime loss. This will be an actual battle for sure, but air superiority won't be enough to win the war. The Generals victor, anchors away Navy. We've already looked at the weekend's biggest battles across the nation, but hang on to your football helmet, there's more around the corner. We'll be back in just a jiffy to wrap up this week's General Gridiron with our rapid-fire picks.
Hey, Dad. Hey, Dad. Do we have a gun?
Why do you ask that, kiddo?
This is General Gridiron back with you. We've already maneuvered through this weekend's frontline college football showdowns. Now, it's time to fix bayonets and storm the field with our rapid-fire football forecast. Washington wallops UCLA. Alabama tops Arkansas. Richmond captures Delaware in its web. California slips past Arizona. West Virginia whacks Kansas. Boise State bucks San Diego State. Michigan manhandles Maryland. Northwestern surprises Michigan State. South Carolina rebounds versus Missouri. Tulane keeps winning versus Cincinnati. Syracuse, in a close one, at Pittsburgh. Tennessee State bests Austin Peay. And please keep in mind and pray for Christian Abercrombie. NC State bites Boston College. Oklahoma State shoots down Iowa State. Baylor continues Kansas State's agony. Georgia Southern gets after that you-know-what versus South Alabama. Stephen F. Austin wins the Battle of the Piney Woods versus Sam Houston State. Ohio State embarrasses Indiana. Colorado snow skis right past Arizona State. And Mississippi appears to be a real Sun Belt contender versus Louisiana Monroe. Well, soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines, you can now put your swords back in their scabbards. We're all out of picks on this Week 6 edition of General Gridiron. We'll be back again next week, same General Gridiron time, same General Gridiron station. So, don't forget to tune us in on the radio, Facebook, YouTube TV, and, of course, the Y'all Show, Dixie's hottest talk show. And don't forget to tell your friends all about the show. Simply search for General Gridiron. This is John Rawl, the General of Gridiron Glory, thanking you for letting me be a part of your weekend. This episode was written by Murray Lee. General Gridiron is a production of CRM Sports. For more, log on to crmsports.com.
That'll be all, y'all.